Hello and welcome. We're so happy that you are here and tuning into our little video today. I'm Iris Brunner, and I just want to set the stage of this little recording that we're doing. Our agency is Family Service Society. We've been serving the community for 101 years. We have provided services to over 32 counties in Indiana. We are a social service nonprofit that's dedicated to helping children and families learn to thrive. Children and families that are struggling with life's hurts from abuse, trauma, substance abuse, domestic violence, depression, and anxiety. We show up every day to change lives for good. So the purpose of this video is really to just kind of give you a little peek behind the curtain, so to speak, and share with you what our new normal looks like. I know that's a term we continue to hear a lot. People continue to say that a lot. So we are taking it with a perspective of, yes, it's new, but yes, it's also exciting. So in this next couple of minutes, I hope you get a kind of feel of what's happening, and I hope we're able to remove some of the intimidation of this new meeting space that we are in. We know that it's important that we're building relationships, and sometimes it feels like the only way you can do that is face to face. So give us a little grace because we're working through this as well. But most importantly, I just want everyone to remember that we are still here for you. So I have the pleasure of introducing Erin Davis. She is a therapist that works alongside us at Family Service Society. And I would love for you to just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Erin. Talk to us about your passions or how long you've been with FSSI.
So I've been with FSSI for 5 years now, an incredible 5 years, which means that I started all of this doing traditional face-to-face counseling, and I got to be a part of this exciting transition to still serving our community through telehealth. So I am very passionate about working with domestic violence survivors as well as our LGBT population. I work primarily with teenagers and adults. I do see some younger kiddos, and I just get to do the thing I love every day. So I'm a licensed mental health counselor here in the state of Indiana, and I really feel like I'm one of the lucky ones. I get to work with wonderful clients and wonderful people. And I get to work for an agency, like you said, 101 years that we have been serving families, which means I came into a strong tradition that is focused on families and focused on putting our clients first. So even during this transition, that is the thing that our team has said over and over again is how do we best serve the people that we care about? How do we best serve our community? So that's been a really nifty experience.
Well, I am so pleased that you told me yes to this and that you were willing to do it. You are currently in your home. I'm currently in my home, and this is kind of how we're doing life right now. So if I'm a client and I am going to have an appointment with you, can you kind of walk us through what that would look like for them?
Absolutely.
The very first meeting. What is
very
that?
first meeting?
Like? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So typically the client at that point has already talked to our intake specialist, which is usually Tammy Katie. She's delightful, really wonderful human being who is very good at helping people feel comfortable. They've already made sure all of their paperwork is squared away. And then they get an email from me with a link to a Zoom meeting that is, and when they join that meeting, I make sure I lock it so that no one else can join, so that it's completely secure. Mm-hmm. And when they join during that very first meeting, we go over the exact same information that we would go over if we were face-to-face. Mm-hmm. We just tweak it a little bit because it's a little more stuttered when you're online. Mm-hmm. So I pause a little longer to make sure everyone gets to say everything they need to say. And there may be a little bit of awkwardness, but there is anyways during a first session.
Right.
So I cover a lot of ground. I always make sure everyone understands what privacy means and what it is. I always make sure that everyone understands their rights as a client because every client has rights and they should know. Right. And then we talk about what is bringing you into counseling and what can I do to be helpful? What are the things you're looking for in counseling? We spend a lot of time just getting to know each other and giving me the chance to understand context for a client because the client is the expert on their life. I'm the expert on mine. You're the expert on yours. And so a lot of that first session is letting the expert talk about their own life. So it's really, it's a very information-y kind of experience in that first session, but also very focused on what can I do best to help you. And now that we're using Zoom for those first sessions, it's only different because we're not in the same space. I'm finding more and more that, with exception to a little more awkwardness, it's pretty similar to what's usually happening.
Good. So you said a little bit that you lock the Zoom room. Can you talk a little bit about that confidentiality? There may be some questions around that, being in this different space. What are some of the ways that you're making sure that you're still ensuring that confidentiality for your clients?
Absolutely. So same confidentiality that always has stood still stands, and now we have to add a couple of caveats. So you'll notice that I'm wearing headphones, and it's so that anyone who were to be in my home, even though I'm in a separate room, if they were to walk by, they would only hear my voice. And I can only control my side of that. So I make sure I explain to anybody who is on the other side of the Zoom meeting, you're in charge of controlling your space, which may mean using headphones, or it may mean we need to make sure that we have a separate space for counseling.
Right.
I usually recommend that someone find a place where they feel safe and comfortable. And believe it or not, cars are actually very popular for counseling because they're largely soundproof and they're very private. And I thought that was genius. Clients who have figured that out, I was just amazed by that. So we talk about that privacy, and then we also talk about an encrypted meeting. So our technology allows us to have what's called a two-way encryption. And that means that whoever joins this meeting, if they use the link that I sent them, and they have to join the meeting is encrypted, and I have security features on my side that the client won't have visible on their side, but that I have on my side, that I can lock the meeting so that no one else may join. Good. And then as soon as the meeting is locked, that encryption prevents anyone from getting in, which means it's just me and just that client. So those are the only differences, really. Instead of an actual door with a lock on it, we have a program with a lock, and then everyone's in charge of their own space. So I'm in charge of making sure my space is private, and it's very private, and then my client's space is private.
So talk to me about some of the challenges that you feel like you're still working through with your clients, and how are those being addressed? That could be technology, that could be, you did talk a little bit about that awkwardness earlier. What are some of those things that you feel like you're finding creative ways to continue to work through?
So technology does present its own set of awkwardness. I have found largely that most individuals are able to figure out this particular technology. It's been pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Folks who would say that they are not technologically inclined have done a fabulous job. And of course, when there are struggles, I can always assist by phone. And for some clients, because they don't have access to internet where they are, we do phone counseling. And that's what we have to do right now. So that adds a little bit of challenge. The other challenge has really come into the tools that I would normally use in my counseling. So a couple of things that go into that. I'm an EMDR therapist, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. And that uses literal eye movements, like the cat clucks that we've seen everywhere, the eyes moving back and forth. I can't do that with somebody who's on a screen. And the other tools that I would use for that are like headphones with a little box that I could control. But again, I can't use that if someone's on a screen.
Yeah.
So I dove into the research and found that we already had practice methods to do telehealth with that particular therapy by using what's called bilateral stimulation, by crossing our arms and tapping back and forth. It's called the butterfly method. Although I had a kiddo call it the Pharaoh method the other day. I thought they were genius.
Creative, yeah.
It's like, you're going places, kiddo. So it's just tapping back and forth instead of using the eyes. And it's been very effective. Clients have done a really great job with that. And then kiddos. Kiddos are a whole different thing unto themselves. I have found that they're very excited about the technology, which is kind of nifty, that they're even more willing to be engaged because I'm on their screen. But there have been some tools that I've found online to keep kiddos engaged. So one of the things that I have found is this spin the wheel emotion wheel. And it's actually a tool that people have been using for like improv classes, but it gives me a chance to help kiddos explore emotions by spinning the wheel and talking about whatever emotion comes up.
Awesome.
I have a ball in my office that has a bunch of emotions on it, and I would normally just throw this ball with them and you catch it, and whatever your thumb lands on, we look at that. But the wheel seems to do the same thing for kids, especially because, again, it's online, so they get to do all of these things.
Yeah.
And then one of the other tools that a different therapist had shared with me was a Connect 4 game that we can play online. I don't know, can you see that Connect 4 game?
Yeah.
And we can play this game by labeling down at the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 columns. And kiddo just tells me which column they want to drop it in. And I'm finding that they like to talk while we play, just like a lot of times I use Uno in my office to talk while we play. So it's all about getting creative with what tools would I normally use in my office and how can I make that happen online. One of the things that one of our therapists came up with is coping cards. And this is, even my teenagers really love this game. And it's just a deck of cards of coping tools, and whoever gets the most wins, whoever can act out the most wins. One of them is build a pillow fort. And it is so much easier to do that when kiddos are already in their house.
Yeah.
So it's been a really fun experience to get creative with that and to see how we can overcome the obstacles together. So it is challenging. It is very challenging. And at the same time, one of the best features of most people is that most people are creative. And so they're able to help me know how to better help them and come up with their own ways for us to overcome those challenges together.
That is great. And you basically answered my next question, which was, share with us some of the wins or some of the exciting things that are happening. And oh my gosh, I know how my children are, and they love technology and they love to be able to play those games and be involved in those things. So I'm sure for these kids, that's an exciting opportunity. You did share with me offline a really cool, I guess maybe byproduct of this is your clients and their pets. Would you like to talk?
Oh
would
my
you like
goodness.
to share that story a little?
Oh my gosh, yes. So one of the really people come in and talk about their pets all the time when we're in my office together. I never get to meet their pets. Mm-hmm. And so when we've been doing our telehealth, it's not uncommon for the cat to jump up and want attention, or for a dog to jump up and want attention. And it's been really great because while we're processing hard things, they have that comfort with them already. They have they've got Fido with them, helping them out. And actually, I've had a couple of times where people are doing EMDR and it's very stressful and they're crying, and pets have come to them to comfort them because a lot of pets are intuitive that way. So I get to meet everybody's pets, and I have a dog, which is lovely, and he's really mellow. He lives outside of the therapy room doing telehealth, but it kind of humanizes the experience when kids show me their pets and then they want to see mine. And so we're able to share that together and talk a lot about how that's an excellent coping tool, an excellent coping experience to have your pet and be able to bond with them in a way that's supportive.
That's great. That's great. We're animal lovers here too. So I love getting those opportunities to meet them as well. Is there anything else you think that's important for us to share while we're wrapping up this couple of minute video here? Anything else that you think it's important?
Well, during this time, everything, like you said, is becoming a new normal, and it's okay to be uncertain about that, and it's okay to be stressed out about it. And we aren't going to fully know the effects of all of this on our mental health until we're kind of on the other side and regularly interacting as society kind of was before this. So everybody needs to be able to cut themselves a break. We need to be able to say, I don't have any skills for this, and that's okay. And it's okay for me to get the help for that. If people aren't sure whether or not they need assistance, whether or not they need mental health support or care, ask, have a session or two. Part of my job is to tell you when you don't need to see me. And I would much rather say, sounds like you're adjusting pretty well. Sounds like you got the support you need. I'm glad you were concerned enough to see me, and I hope to run into you at some point. Because I would much rather run into somebody else outside of the situation. So it's okay to cut yourself a break. It's okay to remember that we're all figuring this out. One of my favorite songs is We're Making It Up. So Jason Mraz has this song about we're making it up, we're making it all up, and we are. What else is there to do at this point? We're just all making it up. So everyone, just be kind to yourself, be kind to everyone that you can, because we're all making it up together.
Well, thank you so much, Erin. I appreciate your time today. I appreciate your continued dedication to our clients and to those that need us the most right now. Hearing your words are reassuring, even to me. I was just commenting, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day and I get up and I do the same thing each day. And I was like, we've got to switch this up. But I appreciate your continued dedication to mental wellness and the safety of the kids and the families and the adults in our community. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Iris.
Thanks. And so if I could just finalize, I just want to say that we are still here. We are dedicated to your mental wellness. If you or a loved one or a friend or someone is struggling and you feel like you're alone, you are not. We are here for you. All you have to do is simply call the agency, 765-662-9971, or you can visit our website, and that is famservices.com. And you can select to schedule an appointment. And that screen is right here. It's an easy form, just a couple of clicks. Name, a best way to contact you, your email, any comments or requests that you have, and just hit submit. You will be contacted by Tammy, our awesome intake specialist, as Erin talked about earlier, and we will get you taken care of. So I just encourage you that if you need us, we are here for you. Thank you again, Erin, for your time, and thank you everybody for watching. Have a great day.